DC, Batgirl, Joss Whedon. Need we say more? I'm Sasha Perl-Raver, and this is Screen Junkies News. In an exclusive from Variety released just this morning, Joss Whedon is, quote, nearing a deal to write, direct, and produce an untitled Batgirl pick for Warner Brothers, and it will exist within the DCEU. That's right, Joss, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Marvel's Avengers, Whedon is giving us a Batgirl that will kick all that ass in the Justice League universe. How she'll fit into the DCEU and which version of Batgirl we're getting, well, those are the questions that we are here to talk about. Here with me to discuss are Matt Key, Paris Lay, Miss Roth Cornett. All right, kitty boo-boos, what are we thinking? What Batgirl will this be? Paris, you're new to the panel. I would like to start with you.
Well, I think obviously we're going to get Barbara Gordon. Like, there's no other way to go. You got J.K. Simmons there, just like a natural progression with him there and that character. So it just makes sense. I just don't see how you operate within that universe without that particular character. So I feel like if you're going to go with her, you're just going to go with the classic Barbara Gordon, like Batgirl. No other way to do it.
I think that was a pretty resounding answer across the panel. But if there were any other possibilities, Matt Key, who might else we get?
There's Stephanie Brown. She played Batgirl she was Batgirl for a while, and also known as Spoiler. What would be cool about if we got her is that we could possibly get Barbara Gordon already in the role of Oracle, which would bring in that entire backstory. It would also mean like we would have like an older actress, and that actually could work a little bit better with J.K. Simmons, who's a little bit older. So I think that would actually be kind of cool. We could also maybe get Carrie Kelly. She played Robin. She wasn't really a Batgirl per se, but she played Robin in Dark Knight Returns, and that could be kind of a fun turn too.
I'm loving the idea that they're playing the role of.
Playing the role of Batgirl. Well, I wonder, with all of this, where will this fit into the DCEU? I mean, we've got Gotham City Sirens coming out. We've got Justice League that's about to come out. Is there any possibility they could wedge in at least maybe like a mention? Because we do have J.K. Simmons coming in as Commissioner Gordon. How do you think this is going to fit, Roth?
That's an interesting question. I hadn't thought about that. There's a lot going on in Justice League, so I would be surprised if they sort of scooted it, maybe just a mention, like you were saying.
Like, how's your daughter?
Like a hint,
And that actually would be how we would know how old she is. Like, how's your daughter? She just graduated from high school.
I don't think she'll be that young, though, because she'll be young because it's Hollywood.
Because it's Hollywood, honey.
But I don't think she'll be that young because this is going to play in probably to Gotham City Sirens. And so she'll be Margot Robbie's age-ish, is my guess.
Well, what is her age really? Let's like that's a whole other conversation.
She's Hollywood age.
To her, she's 25,
and she will be for the next.
years.
Thank you. Yes, oh, she took my joke. I love it. Yes. Yeah, they're all 25.
Yeah.
They're all going to be 25 until the day they die.
By the way, we're 22.
Yeah.
So
I'm 57. I'm a great looking 57.
Aw, Dad. Where do you think this is going to fit in the DCEU?
You know what's really interesting? I feel like DC is, I think this has all been kind of said before in a lot of ways, but I feel DC said, oh, you know what? Everyone didn't kind of respond to our dark, gritty universe. Let's try to lighten it up. Let's play a little bit on the sunnier side of the street. And I think that they're ironically using the Batman universe to start playing with that. Because what we've seen, is like Chris McKay and all that other stuff. It feels like they're changing tone a little bit, but it feels like they're changing. Like the question is like, is the Bat universe going to be separate from the DC universe? And I don't feel like it can be, but it feels like they're starting to kind of play a little bit over here. And they could be completely changing up their slate. Like, does this mean we're going to get Cyborg? Are we still getting Cyborg? Are we still getting Green Lantern? Like, how does that all? I don't know. Like, it's
well, I mean, when you've got Joss Whedon wanting to come in and write, direct, take over the helm of something, I feel like you push that forward as quickly as he wants to move because it's Joss, Mother, and Whedon. So what he wants is what Joss gets, which does beg the question: what happened, DC? what happened, Marvel? Did somebody make somebody mad?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. What do you?
No. I think it's clear. I feel like it has to be sort of a middle finger to DC. Like it has to be. I mean, to Marvel.
Yeah.
Simply because he kind of was there at the inception of when it really blew up. So, and I think he had so much to do with it. I think everyone knows what happened with with Age of Ultron and just how bitter he was with how they took over that film.
Sure.
So I think he's going somewhere where he's going to have the initial control he had before, where it's like part of the problem with the criticism with Marvel. Some people feels like it's like a TV show where they're like it's like a showrunner over there, and you're just there to kind of like keep the train going. Not too much creativity, and just kind of like they got like a set formula. Whereas clearly they're letting you do whatever you want to do over at DC. So I feel like that's a great place for him to be, and for him to jump teams. I mean, that's really a big deal.
Yeah,
that's a big deal.
Hit it,
it's like,
Roth.
I mean, is Kevin Durant going to the Warriors? Like,
I mean, it's
sports reference.
Kevin Durant. I know the Kevin Durant question. I got a Kevin Durant analogy when I came here, which I was super complimented
What?
by. Yeah.
Are you the Kevin Durant of ScreenJunkies?
Apparently, that's what some lovely person on Twitter made that comparison, and
That's
thank you.
so nice.
Maybe the highest.
I just always use the Allen Iverson thing.
Yeah.
We're talking about Batgirl? Batgirl, not the franchise we love. Batgirl. Yes, we are.
Here's the thing about Joss Whedon, though. I got to visit the set of Ultron. And
Ew, fancy.
With a bunch of,
I know, it's a set visit.
It's a bunch of sweaty,
still pretty awesome.
reporters.
Don't call Silas that.
Oh, no, I'm talking about myself, girl. Silas smelled like a damn rose the whole time.
So you're on the set.
So we're on the set, and I remember because he looked like he wanted to die.
Oh,
and he kept making
Joss
jokes
Whedon.
about the fact that he was lucky he remembered to put on underwear that day. And I remember going to the restroom and coming out, and he was coming out of the restroom, the men's room, and we bumped into each other. And he literally looked like this, and he just goes, hi. And he keeps walking, and it was like, oh my God, Marvel has killed Joss Whedon.
Oh my God.
But I think it's any movie is overwhelming, and
Yes.
I think a director taking on a film of that scale is going to be overwhelming and really taxing on the system. So I was surprised to hear that he would want to take on another big studio superhero movie, because he seemed, and I don't blame Marvel, and I actually think some of the criticisms of Marvel actually are two-sided, because I could understand how that's a criticism, but it's also probably why they're successful.
Because they have a very clear vision.
Very clear vision.
Yeah.
You can't knock it. I mean, they make money. They're the biggest money making films every year. So clearly, whatever they're doing is working. But I know how sometimes with a creative that can be a problem. With Ava DuVernay, she almost took one of the films, and she was Black Panther, and she said no, just because she realized you don't have much control here. I'm just pretty much doing what you want, and like you just get the token black person doing Black Panther, and you get a black woman, and it was kind of like that was serving more so them than it was her, and because she didn't want to compromise her creative vision and what she wanted to put a spin on. So I feel like if he's back, it's clearly because he's negotiated where I get to have control, I get to do something, because like you said, everyone would have thought, oh well, that's just the end of him doing those kind of movies because they burned him out. To bring him back, it has to mean he has a level of control that he didn't have before, and he's re-energized to do this thing.
Yeah.
And not to mention, like, Joss Whedon has made like an industry for himself of like creating like very fleshed out, like very well conceived kick-ass female characters.
Totally.
And like Batgirl is the epitome of that. So to see him taking that on is like, this is kind of a perfect thing for him, like in a lot of ways, so.
Well, and my thing is I mean, we talk a lot about like the two teams, but the truth is everybody's on the same team. The team is let's make good stuff.
movies.
That's the team.
Yeah.
And Joss Whedon is a fan of the source material. Like, it's not like he just said, oh, well, I want the money. He obviously wants to make a good movie, and Joss Whedon would not sign on, like you said, Paris, unless he had a vision, unless they agreed to that vision. But here is the bigger question. If in all of this, they are starting to focus on Batgirl, what does that mean for Batman? There has been so much turmoil around that, and how much Bat can you have without Batfleck?
Yeah, I think that is one of the questions that came up this morning when we were talking about it, because there is he's publicly said sort of what's going on with him. We won't get into the details of that, but clearly there's a lot of upheaval around there, and they are looking for different angles to go at this universe. And to your question, does this change the slate? Potentially. They're doubling down with Gotham City Sirens. They love Harley Quinn. I think they're trying to push that forward, and a person that is amazing for that, and who knows how much he's planning on doing. But to your point, it's a smart move on DC's part.
Yeah.
Joss Whedon was right there when the Avengers happened, and he helped them craft with Kevin Feige, who it was his vision for a long time, the launch of that universe. Does it start to get too unwieldy with all of these different sub-universes? I don't know. But if there's anybody that can pull this off, I have seen every hour of television that man has ever made, and I am not exaggerating. At least one time, I've seen every single thing he's ever made. I am a Joss Whedon believer. I won't hear otherwise.
I don't think anybody would say otherwise. Is there anybody who would say otherwise? No.
No, I wouldn't.
I think he clearly has the chops to do something
I'm like,
really.
why are you arguing with me?
I mean, he clearly has the chops to do something
There's no fight.
really special with it. No. He clearly has the chops to do something really special with this. Just, I'm wondering what happens when, like you said, all these universes coming together and they kind of like branching off a little bit. I do wonder what that means for the overall tone of their universe, just because he doesn't do the type of dark, dreary stuff that Zack Snyder does. So that's the one thing where I'm kind of like, okay, well, I'm really excited about this, but you've got me used to like just seeing a world that's almost in black and white, no color. The sun never shines in this universe. It's always raining. So I'm like, what does that look like with the backdrop of the stuff that he normally does? Like, because that's going to feel completely out of place.
But you know what he does perfectly? He is able to tell dark stories with humor.
Oh yeah,
he has such
Cabin in the Woods, bro.
Yeah, well,
oh my God, that's
Drew
like,
Goddard directed that, but yeah, he produced it, and Drew Goddard's his protege.
I thought it was he wrote it.
Yeah, he wrote
Yeah,
it. But with Drew Goddard director, he was his protege. He worked on all of the things. Drew Goddard worked with Joss Whedon for a long time. But like, I mean, to me, if you think about Buffy, take The Body for an example as an episode. That episode, like, there are episodes of Buffy that will wreck you, will destroy you. They are so dark and sad and heartbreaking, but he's still able to imbue humor in that. So to me, he actually has the perfect tone for what this franchise means. Avengers, in a lot of ways, was much lighter than what he normally does.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, we got back quips.
we got a lot of back quips in that Justice League. Oh, shawarma. Now I have to eat shawarma. Oh, man, one shot and that's it.
And going off of what you said, like, we've also got Chris McKay doing Nightwing. So like you almost have to wonder, like, is this a complete tonal shift, So
Is it?
How do you think that works, though? I mean, let's talk this out, guys. Nightwing, Batgirl, what's going on with the bat? Like, how is this all going to fit together?
It feels like they're almost doing two separate universes. It's kind of like similar to what Fox is doing with, like, they've got X-Force and Deadpool and Cable, all that stuff. Then they've got X-Men. They're both marginally connected, but like you can do rated R stuff over here, whereas over here you're doing more PG family fare. It almost wonders like if they're doing something similar to that with DC, where they're going to have, strangely, family friendly Nightwing, Batgirl, maybe even Matt Reeves' Batman, versus kind of like edgier Zack Snyder Justice League verse.
See, when we first talked about this, I didn't think that was the way they were going. I thought that it was going to be that they were going to push things more toward like what we got from Harley Quinn, which was much more sort of like on the verge of R, PG-13, but like female driven, but still pops of color and light and what we expect from Joss Whedon, but with a lot of humor laid into it and lots of kick-ass action. And then I kind of figured Justice League would go off to the James Wan darker side.
It's just going to kill you a little bit.
I like
good.
That was good, Rob.
Good.
And I figured like the Zack Snyder stuff would still sort of tonally stay in that dank, dark. I don't know. Paris, what do you think? Where do you think they're going to push this?
I really feel like it's going to be a balance, just because they've gotten so much criticism for being so dark and so dreary, and it's just like these movies are just humorless and just lifeless, and you just leave them just feeling sluggish and depressed. And I feel like hiring someone like him means that you want it to be more fun. I mean, obviously we all heard about the reshoots they did with Suicide Squad to add more humor. The trailer for Justice League had a few little jokes from Batman this time. Like, it was like, oh, okay, wow, like this person isn't just like a gruff just all the time. So I feel like they have to do some kind of shift, just because after a certain while, people just don't want to keep seeing it. Like, you want some type of hope in these films, and I feel like this is a direct acknowledgement that we have to do something a little different.
But why not push Flash then? Because Flash, to me, is the character that makes the most sense. Like, find a damn director and make that a thing.
But I mean, the problem there is that they've now gone through 3 directors. Like, no one's able to get onto the Flash and give DC what they want from the Flash and still like not completely compromise their creative vision. At least that's what seems to be going on over there. So, but with Batman, the Bat Universe, Batgirl, like all of that stuff, it seems like everyone's coming out of the sun to do that stuff, you know? I don't know what the problem is with Flash. I agree with you. Like, Flash is one of the sunnier characters.
I have a guess. Jeff Johns, who is now the co-head of DC Films, the Flash is a very sacred character for him. Like, he is
No one's good enough for my Flash.
I wonder. I'm just trying to wonder if no one's good enough to put a ring on his Flash because the show is so good. This is just a guess. Like, the show is so good and Grant is so good. Actually, I'm not caught up. I'll be honest. I have to catch up a little bit. So tell me if it's still good.
It is.
It's still fun.
It's still great.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's still fun.
I'm a few behind. Anyway, long story endless. There was a part of me that wondered, like, is he just a little precious about this character? And also, maybe they're waiting to see how it works in Justice League.
That was my other thing about Flash, where it's like, we've already seen this done so well, so good in like a TV show. Like, what are you going to do that's different that makes it as fun as this? So I feel like that's probably what's making them a little skittish about doing Flash in the DCEU, just because like we've seen that character already and we see episodes and adventures with him every week. So, I mean, what are you going to do? You have to try to top it, which I don't think they're going to be able to.
I do love Grant, but all right, let's play the speculation game. We're talking about a possible Joss Whedon film. Who will possibly be Batgirl? Let's play the game. Let's play that game. Let's play that game. What do you think, Rock? You got a person?
You know, I suck at this. Let's be honest. No, I do, because
Gotta
it's
get casting
every
director.
time we do this, we pick somebody that we think is like just a great actor.
Okay,
and
here.
then it's somebody completely different.
All right, I'm going to go with this. I'm going to go to the people. Great. I'm going to give you a check-in. I'm going to give you a second to think about it, and I'm going to tell you guys some of the answers that we got from you on Twitter. Hamza Juzer said Elle Fanning, which I like a lot if they're going younger. At Rocky Drago 66 said Emma Stone.
Interesting.
Which I like because you've got personality, you've got humor.
You got the red hair.
You got the red hair. I don't know if
You
she
got
can,
Marvel and DC crossing again.
There you go.
Crossover. How many times, fact checker if there is one,
Yeah.
like how many times has this actually happened that we've had someone
Director or actor?
or
an
on
actor
screen
jump from a DC property to a Marvel or
DC
vice versa.
Director,
made.
I don't think we have any yet, but I know we have a couple like on screen that would.
Where have we crossed?
Well, I mean, J.K. Simmons was J.
In
Jonah Jameson, now
Yeah,
Commissioner
Spider-Man.
Gordon.
Which actually, so again, that would totally work. Emma Stone is just being plucked from that.
Yeah.
I just wonder, do you guys think she could do action sequences?
Yeah, she can dance, she can do action.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, I think so.
And she's got on the mask. She got on the mask.
So
Stunt-
her
as long-
stunt
as
double
long-
should be
yeah.
great.
Stunt double.
As long as she has more than 3 weeks to practice her fight scenes.
Ooh. Shots fired. What? Do you have a third person? Wait, but there's one more.
More.
At Andrew Wise Loss 8 said Amelia Clark. Amelia Clark, our Khaleesi, who is going to be done with Game of Thrones very soon, and obviously, like, Terminator Genesis did not set the world on fire, so that is not going to happen again. So I feel like she would be great.
I don't know.
That's like a quiet.
I don't know. It's just I'm just so used to seeing her so regal and proper and just being just. I don't know if I'm just. How does she work as a gritty? Just I don't know, because it didn't work for me, and maybe it's just because I've seen so much Game of Thrones that I'm just. It's hard to see her as like on the ground, getting dirty, fighting kind of
I
thing.
think she would be really good, and also she is so physical and like so beautiful. And once we get that wig off of her head and you got the brown hair again, don't let Janias ruin you. There is possibility.
I 16
actors, but including sorry guys,
But includes pre-MCU,
Pre-MCU,
so like
DCEU.
Spider-Man, X-Men, like the Fox
the
Universal
older
stuff.
films.
Yeah.
Thank you, our producer
Thank you,
Justin, who just
Justin.
held up a card.
Very
So there have been
wonderful.
16. Well, that's
Yeah.
interesting. So there's possibilities. All right. Do you have one now?
Yes.
Give me a Batgirl.
Well, I'm going to give you a Batgirl. I love the Khaleesi. I love her so much. But if there's one franchise that's sacred to me, it's Terminator. And I was so bummed by that movie. But that has nothing to do with what she can do in the future. I love Alicia Vikander. She's playing Tomb Raider now. So I don't know if that's like, how many franchises can you have? But other people seem to have endless amounts of franchises. If we're going by the Harrison Ford model, you can have at least 2 and 3. No, 3, really.
Yeah.
3, yeah.
Yeah.
Blade
Indiana
Runner?
Jones,
Blade
Han
Runner.
Solo. Well, I was actually thinking
Han
what's his
Solo,
name?
Indiana Jones.
Patriot Games. What's his name?
Patriot?
Jack Ryan.
Jake Ryan.
Jake Ryan.
How many of those
Wait,
did he do?
Jack
Fact checker.
Ryan.
Yeah,
Jack
Jake
Ryan.
Ryan is the guy from 16 Candles.
So Alicia Vikander, I think, is such a good actress.
I
She's
love Alicia
beautiful.
Vikander.
She's clearly learning how to do action right now. She'd be rad.
Yeah, I love her. She can act. She definitely, and she was a ballet dancer, so you know she can do the fight choreography. I am also going to throw out a possibility, and it is a direct Marvel DC crossover. So, Defenders theory. I think they are going to kill off Rosario Dawson, and the murder of Claire is going to be the thing that brings the Defenders together. So once she's not on those shows anymore, you make her Batgirl. How good would that be?
She's going to be our Agent Clausen. That's what's going to happen. I get you.
Yeah,
That's
gonna pull a Coulson.
So she's going to be dead over here on Marvel, and she's going to be like, well, I could go over here and do this Joss Whedon Batgirl situation. I would love that.
And we're going to find out that her character had trading cards of all the Defenders and there's blood on them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Ooh, that's mine. All right, boys, what you got? Paris, hit me.
Chloe Grace Moretz, just because we've seen her do action, and she's not as young as she used to be. So you can get that nice right at the late college kind of a vibe from her. So if we're gonna go that route, like I said, I don't know how old they're gonna go with Barbara Gordon, but I just think obviously we've seen her do action before, and I think she would just, pardon the pun, make a really kick-ass Batman.
Yes.
And if that would really very much feed into sort of the more millennial, younger version that they have now, where she's in her last days of college and taking selfies and everything. That's her current version.
It's
in
in
the
the New
comics.
52.
Yeah, New 52, but even I think in Rebirth, they're kind of playing with that. Yeah.
Nice.
So I'm terrible at fan casting. I'm the absolute worst at this. So I'm going to go with the obvious Joss Whedon answer and say Felicia Day
Oh, I like
as
it.
Batgirl.
Wait, what's wrong with that? I'm into it.
That's actually pretty out of the box.
It's a cutting edge out of the box option. Well, we want to know, who do you think they should cast, and how do you feel about this Joss Whedon news? Let us know in the comments below. You can tweet us at SJ News. Make sure to like and subscribe. Of course, you can always click here for more Screen Junkies news. Be good.